Burn back it take heights up. Be positive. Wake up and live. No for them a hype out machine. We uncommon. Something we bigger than the damn cannon. The lightning we done them and them gang with one hand. Leave them headless, no foot to stand on. The lava.
But with love at first sight, I really don't know. As for me, I'm not convinced. How do you meet a person at once and decide that you've fallen in love? Then perhaps let's define love and let's define lust. And let's see the difference before we can actually understand what love at first sight is about. I understand that there are people that say, their relationships, started as a love at first sight thing. But how do you see a person and fall in love that same, moment or instantly, just looking on the outer appearance of the person? You seem to like an ear, eyes, eyebrows, maybe the lips, the shape of the nose, or whatever the case, and then it's enough for you to say, wow, this is love, I love you. It beats me. I'm not so convinced. I'm not really convinced. For me, I attribute it to lust. You've not known this person, you don't know their behavioral patterns, you don't know their mannerisms, you don't know their attitude, you've never studied their, their habits. You've never just sat down with them or spent enough time to conclude that you can be with this person for the long run or whatever the case is. But then you decide that this is love at first sight. I really don't know. Define for me love and then define for me lust, and then we can get there. Isn't it infatuation? Because love at first sight is just a claim based on the outer appearance and physical perception of another person by another. So I'm not very convinced. See you later anyway. But then again, the phenomenon of love at first sight in this particular generation, in our time of today, I think it's getting extinct. I think people need to really get into research before love. Research for love. I think we need to get into the era of research for love, research before love, so that people can get to really understand what they're falling in love with. Because nowadays, to say you've fallen in love at first sight is a risk, and to try to pursue that kind of love or that kind of a relationship based on it was love at first sight, I met him and I loved him, and when he told me he loved me back, I was like, ooh. That's a risk. People need more grace, because nowadays it's very hard to know what you're really falling in love with. Nowadays there's too much artificiality going on. Sorry, there is, a whole lot on top of the apparent appearance of a person. There's too much coverage, if you know what I'm saying. There are nails on top of nails. There's a face on top of a face. There are eyelashes on top of eyelashes. There's so much color going on everywhere else around the face. Too much, ornaments, jewelry and stuff like that. Of which it's not bad, of course, but back then people knew that what you're falling in love with is really what you're seeing, and what you're looking at is what you're getting. But nowadays that's not necessarily the case. So the generation of today, we need more grace and the ability for discernment to actually know what we're falling in love with. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I hope that at least a bit of light is being shed as I'm speaking right here. So, maybe the love at first sight phenomenon is getting extinct. We need to get into the research for love era now. Anyway, I'm checking out. I'll see you later. Shamar. Love at first sight. Today you have to pray. And then you pray. And then you pray again. And then after you've prayed the third time, you need to pray. Before you say you've fallen in love, before you claim that now you love a person. There's so much need for discernment and even spiritual perception before you can understand. Besides, a partner comes from God, so let's just pray for our partners. I think. Bye.